Hello, Chem 1A. This is Chapter 7, Lecture Video 1, and this is going to be about gases, primarily pressure units. So gases are really important to our everyday lives, from powering our cars if you have a combustion engine to, cool hot air balloons, to, what our bodies expel all the time. They provide a lot of functions throughout our society and our biology. So let's talk a little bit about the physical properties first. Um, the physical properties actually can change for gases depending on what pressure, temperature, volume, or amount of gas that's present. Gases can be compressed, so that means that their volume can be decreased without changing amount. They exert pressure on their surroundings constantly, so they're constantly providing forces on the surroundings around them. They expand to whatever volume is available. So this is kind of the opposite of compress. So if you open a gas in a sealed container, it will expand to fill that container. And they mix completely homogeneously with one another. So if we put a bunch of gases in the same container together, eventually we will have a purely homogeneous mixture. So let's talk about some pressure units. Gas pressure units, there's three main ones that I need you guys to know about, and one of them is the atmosphere. This is by far the most common unit we use in the United States for pressure in terms of sciences, specifically chemistry. And so over here is our conversion factor to atmospheres. Since we're talking about atmospheres, this is a 1-to-1 because 1 atmosphere is 1 atmosphere. But the next pressure unit is known as millimeters of mercury. And there are 760 millimeters of mercury in 1 ATM, and you need to know this magic 760 number. I won't provide it on tests. Torr is another unit of pressure, and it's also going to have a conversion factor of 760 torr per 1 ATM. And if you're kind of looking at these two units going, oh well, 1 millimeter mercury does equal 1 torr. So these are the three units that I need you to have the conversion factors kind of memorized for. And these are probably the most common units you're going to see pressures in this class. However, there are a few more pressure units out there, and if I give you anything in these units, I will provide the conversion factors in the problem. So a Pascal, or PA, there are about 101,000 pascals in 1 atmosphere. A bar, this is both of these units are more used by physicists than chemists, but there are reasons to use either one. And then PSI, which is by far the most common unit in the United States for pressure. PSI, if you didn't know, stands for pounds per square inch, and it more than anything depicts what pressure is actually a measure of. It's the measure of force per surface area. So square inches is an area, pounds is a force, so pounds per square inch is a measure of force per surface area. All of these units are a measure of force per surface area, just in different ways. Different units of force, different units of surface area. Pascals, often you'll find pascals written as kilopascals because of how big that number is, right? Sea level is 1 atmosphere of pressure. So at sea level, our pressure is 101,325 pascals. It's a lot easier to write that as 101.325 kilopascals. And the same thing with bar, actually. Bar is often not measured in bar, but in millibar. It's just metric units attached to these base units of pressure. Okay, so let's do some examples of this, and then we'll end this lecture video, right? So let's say I have 1.28 atmospheres of pressure, right? And I want to know, hey, what's this pressure in torr, right? Well, this is just pretty much a straight up conversion of that. So 1.28 ATMs. Now this is one of the conversions you should remember. So 1 ATM you should know is 760 torr, right? So I won't provide this on tests. So we need to kind of go, okay, well, atmospheres need to go down here, torr needs to go up here, and I know that 1 atmosphere is 760 torr. This gives me a pressure of about 972.8 torr, right? So this is one of the more common pressure units that we'd be working in. Maybe we are given a different unit. Maybe we're told, hey, we have let's say we have 389.6 millimeters mercury, and we want to convert this to ATMs, right? Well, 389.6 millimeters of mercury, we know, because the conversion factor is going to be pretty much the same here, and again, this is one that I won't provide, right, that there are 760 millimeters of mercury in 1 ATM. And so we can kind of solve for that, and we get that this is about 0.5126 ATMs. All right, so this is kind of some pressure conversions you should be able to do. All right, if you have any questions, please let me know, as always, via Zoom or email.